Well, tomorrow we leave for California, one way or another, and we have a lot to do still on the van, but I'm happy with how it's coming along. Today's job will involve building out the van from here back. I also need to redo the brakes. I'll be doing that today. If I have time, I'll be cutting some holes in here for my driving lights, my off-road lights, and I'd like to weld the lift bracket in the Airstream. It's holding on fine and it hasn't budged and those bolts haven't moved, but it would make me feel better to just have a little bit of a tack weld on there just in case those bolts ever did come loose. It would secure it and not rattle off or crash or anything. That probably won't happen, but I'm going to do my best to get it done.
We're going to build storage that goes around both the wheel wells, and we don't want our insulation to get punctured because it has foil, which is kind of prone to puncture. So I'm just covering it in some carpet scraps that we had around. And I'm just using an adhesive glue. It's probably not the super best way to do it. I was going to try and sew the covers, but it was taking forever. I really needed to do a mock-up out of a little more pliable material to get it right, and there's just not time. So this will work. It'll be fine. Just going to protect it so we can store stuff around it without hurting it.
Brake job's going well so far. I use this disc quiet stuff. My old pads had plenty of life on them. They're almost brand new. I swapped them out before we left almost a year ago. But I decided to go with some extreme duty slotted, drilled rotors and pads from Power Stop. I'll put the link to these in the description. It just makes me feel a little bit better having the beefiest brake around since I do tow with this and since it's a big van. Granted, I do have an 04 axle up here which has way better brakes than these vans ever came with, so it was already upgraded. Now we're just taking it one step further. But brakes and safety is one area I don't want to mess around and skimp on. Our fur baby is sure enjoying this weather. You like the sun? Well, it's one of those days. My bolt broke off. Not what I needed at all today. Oh, this is going to be awful. I hope AutoZone has it and I don't have to go to... Well, I need the sliding brake pin and the bolt that goes into it. I doubt the car parts stores are going to have that. I may have to go to the Ford dealership. Dang it. I lucked out. One of the local auto parts stores had these. They were only $8. So that's good. Let's hope it's actually the right one now. And I get this buttoned up. I was supposed to be done with the whole front end by now. But I'm hoping in an hour I can have it all back together. Both sides. One down. That wasn't too bad really, except for that broken part. So pretty on there. Gotta do the other one. Swap out the rear diff sensor, then the van mechanicals are done. On the rear diff now, this is the rear ABS sensor and the speed sensor. I never swapped that out when I got it, so hopefully this fixes my cruise control problem and my ABS light. Actually, cruise control is, the problem with that is the clock spring that I need to fix later. But all done, got a new sensor. Let me go show you the rotors. They look pretty cool. I've never had drilled and slotted rotors. You can see them in there. Kinda neat. Need to break those in. But first I'm going to take a shower, get all cleaned up, fly my drone a little bit, and celebrate a victory of having the battery done and all the mechanicals on the van. Then it will be cabinet building night, finishing this. Alright. Alright, we're ready for round 2. One of the toughest things about our build is we're trying to leave a bench where people could sit. We initially wanted a real seat with seat belts and everything, but we just don't bring passengers all that often. It's maybe once every 2 weeks when we're meeting up with someone or we're running a shuttle for the bikes or the boats or something. So we're going to build a big storage box here that people could sit on. It wouldn't be super comfortable for a long period of time, but people could sit on it. Laws are different in different states, but in Utah, it is legal to carry passengers in the cargo area of a vehicle without seatbelts. And this is our cargo area. That's also why we left this panel removable on the bed, is so people could sit there and not whack their head on the bed, which is going to be really nice. So right now I'm going to be building the structure to box in our water and fuel cans and our BioLite pizza dome and a couple other things in there. One of the best decisions we made on this build was redoing one of our worst decisions. Putting in the 3/4 inch plywood and bolting it down was one of the best decisions. We've been able to sink all of our cabinetry straight into that, and it makes everything way more rock solid. Even though that set us back a day, it was totally worth it. There are a few things we didn't get done due to time. One is find a good mounting solution for the spare. Right now it's got these massive zip ties, a whole bunch of them, zip tying it to the body there. We also didn't get to paint the top. Before we put solar panels on that, I want to get it painted, and I've looked into doing it myself. I just can't find a good paint solution that'll look decent, so we're going to have to take it to Mako, because they're the only company we found that has a booth tall enough to let it in. I know Mako's not the world's best paint, but it's an outdoor van that we go camping in, so as long as it holds up relatively well, should be good. But we got the main parts done. We got the insulation, or at least the sound deadening, the floor, the waterproof vinyl that we can just sweep out or mop, which is awesome. The sound in here is so much quieter than it's ever been, even before we took all the panels out. This stuff really worked well. We replaced leaky windows, we got the bed in, it still fits all the bikes, and we've got room for all our gear. We got the auxiliary battery, got the inverter rewired, got the fridge going. I got the battery isolator in. We've done a lot of work in a month. It's no Pinterest van that just looks like a showroom floor, but that's not our style anyway. It's totally functional. It does what we need it to, and it's easy to make changes if needed. I would love it to one day paint this and make it look nice, but looks are like the lowest priority right now. We need it to function and to work for us, and we might change it up a little bit and tweak some things as we go, so I don't want to like spend a whole bunch of time painting this if I might change it up. That being said, this is version 3 of the van, and I'm really happy with how this is working. Every version just keeps getting better and better and closer to what we're looking for in a van, and this is by far the closest we've had to the ideal setup. It'll be fun to live in it for a few months, see what we need, see what we don't need, maybe make a couple tweaks, and go from there. Now that we don't have a house, we don't mow the lawn and fix the water heater and re-shingle the roof. Instead, we have other chores that add up, and we just save them up every 6 months for a 1-month blitz when we come back to Utah. Crank it all out, and then go back to playing and relaxing. Probably not the best way to do it, but if we stay here more than a month, we start to really get fidgety and say, I can't wait to be on the road, I can't wait to be on the road. So Teresa and I keep saying, isn't that great that we're going to be gone tomorrow? And then on the other hand, we're saying, holy cow, we're going to be gone tomorrow. We don't have enough time to get everything done that we need to. I think we're good for time. We'll figure out a way to make it work, and so excited to be on the road tomorrow. So tonight will be a long night getting this all ready, but I'm excited for it. Hey, I just realized that 2 years ago to the day, where were we?
RVing.
Renting our first Cruise America that started this whole thing off. It's been 2 years. Pretty crazy. Feels like decades ago, but it also feels like
Just
not that long ago.
yeah.
It's our 2-year RV anniversary. Well, I think staying up till 2:30 in the morning is getting to me. I measured the wrong side of this, and it doesn't fit, which means I need to go buy another piece of wood, which takes an hour out of my day, and it takes the van away from anyone who could possibly be doing work in the van. So there's another hour gone. That's what happens when you rush it, though. I'm ready to be done, and I think I'm just not being as careful as I should be. Also, Teresa made the template, and she made it great, and then when I took the template, since I didn't make it, I wasn't very familiar with it, and I got it flipped around and did it backwards. Frustrating. Well, we're back from Home Depot with more wood, and it's dark. I'm not gonna botch it this time. I totally screwed up on the last one, and I'm not gonna do that this time. Please tell me this fits. Hey, at least it's not too short.
We can fix too long.
Sweet. Awesome. We just saw lightning and heard thunder. That is just what we don't need tonight.
And the wind is picking up, which probably means rain's coming.
Here comes the rain. Wow. Go figure. The weather was almost good in Utah today. It's been frustrating. Spring likes to hang on in northern Utah. And we are so ready to move to California. We're here, it's equally wet. And then we're going to Washington, where it's even more wet. Then we're going to British Columbia, where it's probably even more wet. But
at least we'll get away from the stress of the build, you know?
Amen. Check this out. It is coming along so well. We've passed midnight, but we're on a roll, and we're going to finish this box. Look at how cool this is all coming together. Storage in there. Storage in a seat right here. Tomorrow we'll build some more storage back there. So excited. Tressa's doing a great job on her templates. The only way we're making it tonight is with caffeine. The Coke is keeping us going. But I could fall asleep in 30 seconds when my head hits the pillow. What time do you think it is? 1:15 is my guess. 12:40. We're good. We got lots of life left.
Oh yeah.
Here we go. It's 1:30 and my body stopped working. We're gonna call it a night. We're gonna pull this out. It's got a little bow in the bottom, which is frustrating. And since I don't have a table saw, all my cuts aren't perfectly straight. They're close, but not perfect. So we're gonna take this out and tomorrow try to straighten it out, make sure it's all parallel. It's sitting about 1/8 of an inch high over here. It's good over here, but it's sitting high over here. So we'll try and straighten that out tomorrow, put everything back together. We have a great plan. We got the back piece cut and it fits really well. But our bodies are shutting down. So it's time to go to bed, get some rest, and attack this tomorrow with some fresh eyeballs and bodies. What an exciting day though. We've got a lot of great work. The bike mounts in. This box is looking great how we're setting it up. Just feeling really good about the whole thing.
And the brakes today too.
Oh yeah, I did the brakes and the diff sensor, which did not turn off the ABS light, which is so frustrating. I'm done with Fords, except nobody makes, except for the vans, like only because there's not a better option, but I'm not impressed with Ford. I will never own another Ford unless something happens to this and I need to replace it, because the electronics on this are just, everything's starting to go out. It's 20 years old, but like we said, we've had 40-year-old Toyotas with zero electronic problems, and just a bunch of little things like dome lights and switches and unlock.
The power locks and doors.
Power locks.
The whole time.
Yeah, it's just getting frustrating. So.
Engine's great though.
Engine is great because International made it, not Ford. Anyway. We're going to call it a night. We will see you tomorrow. Tomorrow's a big day. We're going to finish up the build.
And clean up the shop.
Clean up the shop.
Get packed up. Head out.
And drive partway to California. It's going to be a big day tomorrow. So we got to get some sleep tonight so that we're refreshed tomorrow.